Hi, my name's Peter Coffin. Imagine, if you will, going to see Bad Boys Ride or Die over the weekend. Now imagine, as you're leaving the theater, you see Will Smith, and he says,
"Play the best song in the world, or I'll eat your soul."
Actually, he didn't say that at all. The way I said, and he said, just reminded me of the Tenacious D song. I'm very sorry. Let's show you what he said.
We're in Baldwin Hills. We're about to go in the theater. It's a ritual I have. I do it like when I have a movie come out. On Friday, Saturday, and usually a matinee on Sunday, I go into theaters.
Damn, let that motherfucker cook the chicken.
Hey, I'm glad y'all enjoyed that. That was a good program.
So my initial reaction to this was, that's awesome. What a nice thing to do. If I was Will Smith, I'd be doing that shit all the time. I'll bet that made a lot of people's weekend way better. And considering Bad Boys came in pretty good at the box office when, you know, every recent movie hasn't, I'm sure they weren't the only ones that were happy. Probably the executives too. He actually did this pretty early in the weekend though and posted it to his Instagram account. Meaning this wasn't a thank you for the movie doing so well. It was a please go to the movie. Maybe Will Smith might be there. Now, of course, people aren't going to think, well, that means Will Smith is going to be at the movie theater when I go see Bad Boys Ride or Die. But as we consider the idea that this is a sophisticated form of advertising, we also have to think about the fact that it's kind of like a BoJack Horseman level sad thing for a celebrity to do.
Look this way, news media! A celebrity is throwing away his hard-earned cash!
So today, let's examine the seminal media event of Will Smith going to his own movie and walking out to the praise and adulation of the audience. Please clap.
Please clap.
So to make this manageable, I'm going to split it up into 2 points. The ad and the sad. Point 1, the ad. So in my discussions around recent movies, for instance, Furiosa, we've kind of looked at reasons why movies aren't doing very well at the box office. Idiot Joe Russo of the MCU fame was hailing the end of the film industry as Furiosa didn't make any money at the box office. I, of course, had a different theory than the guy who actually wrecked movies, in that Furiosa basically looks like Return of Jafar. Like a second-rate rehash of Fury Road. We've seen it already. In fact, we've seen it better. Now, I haven't seen the movie, but friends of mine assure me that it is a good movie. But my assertion is that the quality of the film itself is actually not really the problem. It's marketing. You see, if Furiosa isn't Return of Jafar, then its marketing campaign failed miserably. Like it did this movie such a disservice if it is anything but a second-rate Return of Jafar sequel, which has Homer as the genie and an animation budget of like $20 or so. And I think that marketing is actually the movie industry's main problem in terms of profit. Now, if you ask me what my artistic problem with today's movies are, it's that they have nothing to say. But marketing can make it look like they have something to say if you know what you're doing with marketing. Clearly, they don't. Furiosa had a very large marketing budget and, in fact, failed miserably at looking like the movie has anything to say. And therefore, the viewer's brain just kind of chucks it in the schlop pile and says, well, you know, maybe on Netflix sometime. Which brings us to Bad Boys Ride or Die, a Will Smith vehicle. Now, Will Smith's name has been somewhat in tatters since he slapped Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars.
Oh, wow!
Which sets us up for the sad stuff, which we'll talk about in just a minute, but it also sets us up for a very special type of marketing. The appeal to the common folk. You see, when you're in the elite, when the elite turn on you, you have a couple of choices. The first is to take the fortune you've amassed over decades and disappear forever. This is the mentally sane one. And this is only the insane choice because you already have everything you want. You can disappear in the sunset, live a happy life. It's insane to do otherwise. So just like a Will Smith character, Will Smith took it on himself to go become a man of the people and immediately commodify the emotional labor of their joy into marketing. Now, Will Smith could have been contractually obligated to pull a stunt like this. He may have done it just of his own volition and on purpose or not on purpose. He may have really felt a sad weekend coming on and needed to head it off at the pass with a good day. Again, we'll talk about the more depressing elements of this in a few moments. I don't consider Will Smith the baddie here at all. I'm certainly not criticizing him specifically. I'm criticizing a system that basically makes what I'm about to talk about completely inevitable, and that is that this is the best kind of marketing in today's era. You see, again, they're very bad at making movies appear vital to go buy a ticket and sit in a public place for a couple of hours while you watch it. I don't care what kind of degrees they hold in marketing they've illustrated, those degrees are meaningless. Or did they? What if it seemed like if you went to the movie theater, there was a odd chance that the star of the movie might pop out and talk to you, take pictures with you, do anything at all to stay out of the house where his evil wife is with you. If you do something and enjoy it and there's an image or a video of that thing that gets posted, it will be used to market something. You see, this is a system where no good deed goes uncommodified. Whether that means you post like a video on Twitter or something, and underneath the video, a reply shows up that is advertising somebody's OnlyFans link in bio or a product, or Will Smith pops out with a camera and is like, "Did you like the movie I was in?" So all these excited and happy responses to Will Smith, all of this joy and excitement, it's being commodified immediately into an advertisement. This is the neoliberal utopia, folks. It does not get any better than this. It will get worse, though. But it's not just the normal folks' joy and excitement that's being subsumed and commodified. It's also Will Smith's. Point 2, the sad. So that whole Oscar slap thing, I mean, that really actually did hurt Will Smith's reputation, which the day it happened, I contended was the result of the emotional abuse of his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who gave him a look that changed his laugh at Chris Rock's joke into going up and hitting Chris Rock.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right? Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay? That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
He shifted from laughing at Chris Rock's joke to going up and hitting him. Clearly, Will Smith knew that he was in for the shit if he didn't do something that proved he actually was a good boy in his wife's eyes. Now, in certain circles, that made me the main character of Twitter that day. People did not like that take, but it also bore out to be completely fucking true.
You know Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh my goodness.
If you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just.
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
She's completely comfortable demeaning him in public and then claiming that they're not together and then claiming that they are together.
We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Keep my wife's name
out of your mouth.
I left that night.
As his wife.
As his wife. And as I sit here today, I am going to be by his side.
As
always.
To you.
That's right.
And they had this absolutely awful podcast called The Red Table, which is basically her demeaning him for years. It's the podcast she refers to at the end of that clip I played a minute ago, where he's massively uncomfortable over her filming him clearly at a time when he didn't want to be filmed. Like, he was clearly participating in that podcast as if it was some kind of therapy, him trying to save his relationship. But it was just moment after moment of it being incredibly clear that he will never, ever be enough for Jada Pinkett Smith.
Her 40th birthday was going to be my thing.
It was going to be a splash.
It was going to be a splash. Mary J. Blige performed. I debuted the film, all of that. It was going to be the thing that lifted her out of this midlife crisis, and it was going to be my deepest, most beautiful proclamation of love, and we did it. Then I had Mary J. Blige perform, and the whole time I'm like, the little boy that wants mommy to say everything was wonderful, right? And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
And in fact, lots of people have used clips of her and him and them together to explain narcissistic abuse.
Jada completely acts ignorant and says she didn't have a clue about what was going on when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Really? Because all of us saw how she reacted and the narcissistic injury she got in that moment and how that pushed Will Smith to act out of character. They disconnect themselves from your reality and make it seem like they had nothing to do with your behavior or actions, when in reality they pushed a button subtly that only they know they pushed and nobody else can ever know it, since the trauma bond is so crazy that the relationship dynamics are complex and nobody understands, especially an outsider, what's actually going on between the narcissist and their victim.
But yeah, the Hollywood elite acted like he was a pariah for a little while, and his evil wife took advantage of all that to like release a book and go on a publicity tour for whatever reason, literally talking shit about him, using his anguish in order to make herself look better. She's a horrible person. And I'm not normally one to focus on like an individual about how they're bad or anything. That's not really what I care about a whole lot. But there are a lot of people who have someone like this in their life. And I think that those people might benefit understanding that there are people out there who see this for what it is, and you don't have to deal with it alone. There's other people out there. There's support groups out there for it. It's an awful situation, but you can do something about it in your own life. It just sometimes takes understanding that you're not the only one and that there are other people that see it and understand it. That got heavy. Let's move on from that. She actually makes me think that Will Smith is maybe a little bit more isolated than people might understand. It makes me think that this little marketing ploy, if it was his idea, wasn't explicitly a marketing idea. And if it wasn't his idea, if it was some executive telling him you need to do something like this, both for your own image and for the movie's sake, it makes me think that he probably thought, yeah, it would be pretty nice to go be adored by a movie theater full of people. This thing really comes off as like a BoJack Horseman moment. It sounds so much like something BoJack Horseman would do. BoJack Horseman, of course, the Netflix cartoon that concluded a few years ago, like a season early due to a stupid, like, labor dispute.
We're in Baldwin Hills. We're about to go into theater. It's a ritual I have. I do it like whenever a movie come out. On Friday, Saturday, usually a matinee on Sunday, I go going to theaters.
I'm responsible for my own happiness. I can't even be responsible for my own breakfast. Anyway, Will Smith, just like BoJack Horseman, could very well have a hole in him that all the goodness is leaking out of, and need this.
I need you to tell me that I'm a good person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good.
Him needing it could very well be why this happened. Why somebody with the star power of Will Smith, who, by the way, doesn't have to do anything the rest of his life if he doesn't want to, would go take advantage of the fact that he's a celebrity and people are bound to love him and soak up all that love, both for himself and for an advertisement. Not only does he get that love from the theater goers, but also from the marketing executives who will praise him for doing everything that he needs to do to get that damn movie seen. I'm Will Smith, and you're all so much nicer than my wife. So what's the key takeaway here? Well, to save the movie industry, what they need to do is to make it so that we're all at least a little bit convinced that every time we go to the movie theater for real, there's a possibility that the star of the movie will be watching the film with us. And to ensure the stars are on board, we gotta use sad stars. Like, it's the perfect scheme, folks. Imagine if you thought there was even like a 30% chance that Keanu Reeves, who is well documented for being sad in public, would show up at the next Matrix film. And I don't mean at like the Hollywood premiere. I mean at like 3 p.m. Thursday in your town. I'm exaggerating a little bit. I think if they started doing this type of thing more, it probably would make people feel like going to the movies more, because it doesn't just like make you think, oh, I could see Tom Cruise at Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol Recon 2. It doesn't just make you think that. It makes you think about the fact that going to the movies is like a communal and like nice thing. Like, we don't really have a lot of reasons to just be around other people anymore. We're kind of pretty isolated. In fact, movie theater is a nice little shared experience you can do. A little expensive depending on where you live. I've seen tickets as high as $30 in certain areas of the country. Now, if anything, movies are a very good indicator that the thesis of demand not straightforwardly driving supply is true. They keep supplying us with movies, and they keep failing to manufacture demand for those movies, and the movies fail. So the next time you're in a movie theater, understand that Will Smith might be there, so be on your best behavior, and that whatever you do, if it is indeed recorded, is going to become an advertisement for something. And also be aware that if you're suffering from emotional abuse, there are avenues for help, and people do understand. You don't have to feel alone. I think that's all I got for you today, but what do you have for me? There's buttons down here. Lick them, slurp all over them. There's a whole comment section down there for you to just fill right up. Become a subscriber and money me at patreon.com/PeterCoffin. My full-length documentaries are up here. My shorter videos are right here. Watch them, enjoy them, all that crap. Thanks a lot for your time either way, and have a good day. Bye.